it is very important to us that we play the game alongside of you guys. I think too many times developers have no idea how to play their own game. And so yes, we will be there. Sometimes we'll be there with our, our ultra. I don't want to use the word godlike, but with our ultra abilities. But most of the time, I want us to be in game and just using, just like you guys, just going through everything, building our avatars up just like you guys are, and playing the game alongside of you, or with our team in general. The other thing I want to mention is there is a standing order. That sounds not right, but any Resolute Games employees cannot join a guild. And that is really important because we want to make sure there's no favoritism, et cetera, et cetera. So no Resolute Games employees will be parts of guild. We'll probably have our own guild or something, but that's really important to us as well, to keep the game honest, if you will. And the last thing is we have about 15 to 18 full-time people. We've just brought on a couple more, and we also have about 5 to 8 part-time people. A lot of those are in the art department. And we have 3 very talented interns. Actually, 4 very talented interns. My bad. And they are absolutely amazing, and contribute so much to the team. So we're very lucky. We're very lucky to have them with us as well. So that's a little bit about Resolute Games, and to answer, Lynn won't. I don't know what's happening. I'm seeing a lot of messages coming on. Someone tell me when okay. Okay. We're still good, right? Thumbs up. Can people start slapping me some thumbs up just to make sure? I assume I haven't seen thumbs down. So yeah. Okay. All right. Good. All right. I think there's some issues going on, but it seems to be set to certain people. So I'm going to keep going. We love all the suggestions you guys make. Please continue to make more suggestions, and there are some that we use, some that we don't. The ones that we use, we put on, the majority of them we put on a list for to be implemented in the future, because obviously we have our own game design that we need to get through first. But you guys really have come up with some great suggestions, and definitely have made us think, and suggestions that we want to include in the game. So please try to continue adding suggestions when possible. Titles and pets. We know these are a big deal. All kinds of customization, avatar customization is a big deal. And actually, I'll talk about all of that in general. So titles and pets. One title, one pet can be shown at a time. You can have a lot of titles. You can have a lot of pets. You can only have one of each pet currently. But I am seeing, for some people who are struggling, I am seeing, someone said that if they use Discord in the browser, it's working fine. So if people are struggling, you may want to move to the browser Discord and not the app. Anyway, anyway, I apologize. I'm getting very distracted by this whole sound issue and issues that people are having. Pets, one pet, one title. You can carry pets around and put different pets on for different things, and you can have one title, but you can switch titles. There was a question about can we show off pets in our house. That's not something that we had thought about before, but it's something that we will absolutely consider. So that's a possibility. And I am, and then as far as customization goes, you will, we will have mm, three body forms for humans, one body form for the other playable species, and then for at least the humans, you will be able to pick from a bunch of different hairstyles, eye color, facial hair, and none of that will be gender locked. So even if you pick what is traditionally a female form, you will still be able to give yourself a big thick black beard if you want. So none of the customizations are gender locked. Um, that is that. The last, not the last thing, but one of the last things. In fact, I'm going overboard, so I may pass it back to Paul and then circle back. But the last thing, there's questions about the timeline, and so I'm going to share with you right now um, a picture of a timeline. Don't worry, we are going to publish this as well. If it's too small and you can't really see some of the writing, we're going to post this and publish this. But just to kind of show you guys what we have, I'm going to share this timeline with you guys. So the question's been asked specifically, did the players come over, or when everybody else came over? The answer is no. The people on Eldramoor do have communication still with those on Val Jordan, and there's a boat that goes back and forth that brings new people over, and so that's the only kind of communication that we have with anyone outside of the island. Um, and you'll see the last dot there is when the player enters. So everything before that is all things that happened leading up. There are a lot more things than what we listed here, but you're going to have to find out about those by playing the MSQ, the side quests, finding items throughout the world, etc. So this is definitely a pared down version of the timeline. There are a lot more entries than this for you guys to discover in the game. Uh, BE is before Eldranis. AE is after Eldranis, and there's a lot more dates before Eldranis. But again, you'll find out about all of those in the game. So I'm going to step off now and pass it over to Paul. I'll allow Paul to take the stage. And Z, can you pull me off? I'm not exactly sure.
No,
wait,
my background
I got
blur. You can see my weight set. Oh, I don't really feel like going to find that again. I've forgotten the mystical magical. Oh, second. Right, for whatever reason. Oh, because I'm in browser, I can't do the background blur. I can only do background blur in Discord, in the app. But I can't use the app because freezing in business. So I guess look at my mess. So hi guys, I'm Paul Nierenberg. I'm the director of design here at Resolute Games. I have a whole pile of questions. They are vaguely organized. I'm going to try and just roll through them as fast as I can because it might not be as big of a list as last time, but it's pretty healthy. If you see me looking away, it's because I'm putting you guys over here and keep the questions where I can read them. Cool. I will try and get back to messages in the chat, but that'll be a little bit slower. I don't usually split quite that much. So first questions. This looks like the combat section. Will there be any combat mechanic where you need to kneel, such as to dodge? We are pretty big on dodging. However, we're not that big on kneeling. Things that are that low to the ground are usually pretty problematic in VR. There ought to be a good reason. So I would say we are probably going to avoid that. There'd be some form of combo mechanic for combat, encouraging players to work together by stringing their special attacks together for a big party attack. Yes, yes, in fact, a few. We are looking at all sorts of different ones. Basically, since Kickstarter launched, the designers and I have been pretty deep in the ability sets for two of the classes that we're working on, and really trying to bring out some of those VR mechanics and some of those party play mechanics. I feel like when we first went through the set, they were interesting systems and cool statuses to play with. And I said, but like, what about this is VR? So we're kind of trying to build that out a bit more. Question on Monk. Do monks fight with both left and right hands? Any kicks or headbutts? You can fight just with one hand. They do typically fight with both hands. We cannot track your feet, and while we can track your head, we don't want to. So mostly fists. Um, Playable species. Do the playable species have any different stats or abilities, or are they the same? That's a fun question because having different species that have different stats or different abilities is a classic time. You know, I'm a big D&D player, a little bit of AD&D, lots of 3 and 3.5, pinch of 4, good bit of 5. Um, it's cool stuff to have. For the moment, we're keeping them the same. As we find opportunity for them to grow and change and become different, we may lean into that a little bit because we know it's a fun and interesting place to explore. But I definitely can't make any promises there yet. So I say that we think it's neat. Um, are we permanently limited to the 4 elements, or will it eventually be expanded to the full periodic table? I didn't read the whole question in advance. To answer the basis of the question, there may be more elements in the future that may be part of the story. As far as the full periodic table, I don't see any like gold bending or like I don't know uranium based skills, but well, I'll think about it. We'll think about it. Um, we have a little one for pets. How do pets follow you when you use the glider? So ideally, well, if the pet can fly, it'll have a fly animation that'll just follow you. Those that can't fly might hop on your back or follow you on a little cloud. And if we can't do that because there's not time to make a good tracking system, we will make them disappear and they'll reappear when you. Yeah, I was thinking about plutonium bending. Good lord. But yeah, we'll try it. They will follow you if they can, and if there isn't time to implement that because it's more complicated than it sounds, then they'll poof away and reappear. Bonfires. What's the shortest amount of time to sit at a bonfire to get a benefit? How about for the max benefit? Well, we don't have specific numbers for it yet, but I am picturing a logarithmic curve so that, that's the kind of curve that starts and goes very steeply up very quickly and then slowly peters off and sort of finds an asymptote. Like it never ends, but it basically gets to the same point. Um, I'd like it that, if you just want to catch a quick break and get your buff and sit down, that's cool. But, with that kind of curve, the longer you do sit and chill, the better the benefit's going to be. So if you want to hang out, you're still getting a benefit. It just sort of tapers off to a sort of fair and reasonable amount. Um, Inventory management. Do you have any inventory management, sorting, searching ideas? Yes, we are currently having separate tabs for different types of items, which we think will help a bit, and we'll probably add some sorting to those tabs as well. I think we'll probably explore that more as players play and just make requests. Like it's the kind of thing that you guys will know exactly what you want, and we will put them in if we can. Um, What's the do you have any? Can you share more information on how blacksmithing works? So blacksmithing, when you see it in game, it's pretty simple. I will try and explain it. You have a, let's say you've smelted all your ores together, and your ores do have an effect on the modifiers that come out on the item that you're making. So there's a portion there. But like, let's say you have your rough. Um, each rough will have like a quality bar that has a gradient of quality on it, and 100% is not at the top. It's somewhere in the middle, or there might even be multiple spots of 100%. What happens is you take the hammer and you hit the rough, and based on the force of the hit, a marker moves up the quality bar. So you go hit, 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 or however many it takes, trying to get the right amount of force to inch it as close as possible to perfect quality without going over. And different metals will respond differently. Different mixtures will have sort of different quality bars to them. We're considering if like different metal, like if you're hitting dragon iron or whatever, you might need some really strong hits just to get a mark on it. But if it's like fairy crystal, just tap in there just to try and get it up. Um, we think it'll be sort of a pretty simple but a very finesse kind of thing. Like I expect a lot of people to take a 90 and 95% or whatever, but when you get really skilled at blacksmithing and you really know your metals, you'll be able to really hit that 100% consistently. And we have a little mechanic where if you miss, like you don't just end up with a bad item, you can refire it and the max quality goes down a little bit, but you get to try again. So Too many messages. Jump from chat. Too many. Sorry, I will try and catch up a little bit later in chat. Um, do professions like cooking or fishing have levels? What is the level cap? Yes. Yes, professions are important. I would like professions to have a lot of gameplay. They have the same level cap as classes, and we are very much exploring talent trees for the professions as well, so you can sort of specialize your work. Um, what is this big one? MMORPGs often have both crafted and dropped gear, and gear from raids is typically stronger than crafted gear, but time gated. What will gearing look like in Eldramoor in the end game? So this is sort of a big one because we really want there to be some value to both. We never want crafters to be outpaced, and obviously if you're running dungeons, you should be getting cool stuff. What we imagine is a mix of dungeon raid gear and crafted gear. Dungeons will be the only source of sort of like unique items and build defining items and may have access to particularly powerful modifiers you can't get through crafting. But crafting has a lot more ability to pinpoint the mods you want and really fine tune a piece of gear to be the perfect thing that you're looking for, as opposed to things that are really strong in some places. Uh, what weapon do you equip to become an alchemist? A cauldron. However, it may not be your typical cauldron and it may come with other equipment. Can you explain more about the alchemist class, like what the main weapon is, and if the alchemy is only combat but also luck or defense? Well, we're not ready to release the alchemist class as a whole. You'll know when we are. But I will assure you that they are both functional, definitely for both DPS and support. I know a lot of people got excited about the Iron Skin potion I mentioned in the other Tavern Talk, and if you want to try tanking by just chugging that over and over again, I will not stop you. Um, Monk. If I'm playing a different class and want to switch to Monk, what weapon do I equip to do so? Or is every unarmed character automatically a Monk? Monks use hand wraps, martial arts hand wraps. Unarmed characters are not monks, they are unarmed characters. Are classes leveled or does my character level? That's a great question. And something we did go back and forth on. Um, Classes level individually. It's almost as if you're, like numerically, you're sort of a different person when you are pop into each of your classes. So you might end up being a 20 mage and a 2 monk, and you'll have very different experiences with both of them, but they level very separately, as opposed to sort of your core character leveling up and statting up and then having smaller expressions for the classes in particular. Um, Will this game have any stealth mechanics or potentially a stealthy ninja class someday? We've explored minor stealth mechanics. They're not too high on the list to implement right now. Um, I love proximity based sound games in VR or really anywhere, and I'd love to do something like that. As far as, having the time or energy to put it in, it's pretty far down on the list, so it's probably the kind of thing that if it showed up would be in an expansion. Or sorry, DLC, whatever you want to call it, later release. You know, I that kind of what it comes out in, I kind of leave to Lynn. So, um, blah, blah, blah. MMORPGs often have complexity to combat beyond basic abilities. Oh, this is a long one, but it results in the final question, which is important. How do you plan to approach build diversity? That's a tough question to answer, and it's a big question to answer. It's the kind of thing I could host my own talk on almost entirely independently. But I think that the basis for it is coming up with a combat set of rules that are very uh, thorough and specific and rich, and then finding the interesting places where we can take those to different limits or break them entirely to sort of give you interesting options within the sort of bubble that we make. So I'm really fond of build defining or build defining unique items, like things that turn all your fire damage into ice damage or allow your basic attacks to travel 10 feet in the air. So all of a sudden your punches aren't next to the person, but just flying out there. Just things that kind of take one rule about the game and change them and allow you to sort of make a build around that new concept that appeals to you personally. Um, could there be flintlock guns in the game, or is that a technology too advanced in the story setting? I'm not the narrative designer. I think guns are a little farther than we're going right now. Oh, sorry. Or could there ever be a swashbuckler or pirate class? At the moment, no. However, we do think pirates are cool, and we do have at least one pirate character, so it's not impossible. Um, will the species you play ever slightly or majorly affect the story of the game? At this moment, no. I don't think that it would. I don't see a good reason to, although if you have another opinion on that, let me know. And then finally on my list, can we eat the giant mushrooms? No. All right, that's the entirety of my list. I don't know, maybe if Z or Lynn or if anyone had any questions. Oh, I'm sorry, Quack Dealer. All right, well, I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. Just what if we put small mushrooms around the large mushrooms that you could eat? Okay, fantastic. Jake on it. Let me see. Just Z, Lynn, do you have any quick questions in the chat? Oh, sorry. Actually, I should pass it on to one of the other leads. If there's time at the end, we'll try and collect some questions from chat or other questions that we've had. Do open question and answer. See if I can get to anything else. But thank you all for listening. I think the next person is our new lead engineer, Ryan.
That is right.
Have fun, Ryan.
Woo! Thanks, Paul. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, I'm Ryan Fredland, the new director of engineering, although I've been an engineer for a little bit. And I get just a slew of random questions because a lot of you are really interested in the design of the game, which I am personally as well. And there's not as many technical engineering. So I'll get to those and then I'll get to kind of some miscellaneous. So first off, what is the cheapest headset that you have tested the game with? I've personally tested on a Quest 3 and a Quest 3S, and both have been working fine. Obviously, as we get more stuff in the game, performance is going to be a different consideration, but at this point, 3S is totally fine. Let's see. Do you think a team of 4 of the same roles would be able to normally clear a dungeon, or would that be dumb? I don't think it's dumb if you try. We're trying to make it so it's possible if you had 4 people in the same role to get creative and get through and be able to clear a dungeon. Although it might not be the most easy or optimal experience for you, but if you want a challenge, hey, go for it. Will the average dungeon group makeup be 1 healer, 1 tank, 2 DPS? And what is the average raid group makeup going to be? Average is going to be that layout: 1 healer, 1 tank, 2 TPS, and raids double that. But we reserve the right to explore other compositions or dungeons that are designed for different compositions than the standard. Is climbing unlimited, or is there a stamina mechanic? Right now, climbing is unlimited. If you want to just be hanging off a rock face for half an hour and then waving and then climbing back down, totally fine. For blacksmithing, will the rarity of items be dependent on profession level, equipment, materials used, or some kind of luck factor? Will there be a group finder? Will there be a group finder for PvP, raids, and dungeons? Yes. Will tanks be able to apply guard ability for party members? If you mean, can the tank perform abilities on party members to add defensive buffs or something along those lines, probably. We will be having tank abilities that do affect other party members. Will tanks have taunt abilities for PvP, PvE, or PvP? For PvE, definitely yes, there's going to be taunt. For PvP, we're not sure yet. Could there be gliding obstacle courses like the dragging racing in Orbis? We'd like to. It's not like set in stone, but we would like to do something like that. I think that is my slew of questions. And yeah, Paul, no worries. You had a lot of things to answer, and I had like one thing to answer. So with that, I think I'll be passing it off to Thomas.
Right. Can you guys see me and hear me is a question. I hope you can. All right, awesome. So I'm Thomas Pausica. I'm the new art director here. trying to steer the game into a hopefully lovely, beautiful new direction. Before I talk about where it's going, I am going to answer just a few questions some people had, starting with how many races would you guys like to add, and how long do you think it would take for said races to be implemented once the game releases? Well, currently there's 4 species planned. We don't know how many others will be added later, but there probably will be more at some point. But first we got to take care of, the base species, so to speak. Next question would be, will the NPCs have animations / movement, or would there be some escort quests, etc.? Because I saw the NPC in the tavern. Well, yes, NPCs will be animated. They will have animations. They obviously need to roam and move and do all these things you would expect. So, yeah, definitely, we'll have animation. Next question is, as far as graphics go, will you provide us with any low potato settings as an option? Certainly there will be presets, so predefined settings for like a low, mid-tier or higher end PC. That may look a little different, for Quest, but that's yet to be defined how that will look in the end in terms of quality settings, right? So yeah, those are the questions that I could answer. However, I don't want to just leave you with that, and I want to share my screen to talk a little bit about what's currently being worked on and what's coming your way. So if you guys would love to see some, then I have some. Let's maybe start out with some comparison of old versus new concept art. And as you can see, in this case, it's NPC Sarai, which, again, we're making the comparison. We're taking the game into really new levels of beauty, I would say. A modern approach to stylization and more modern look. We're trying to really go for nice silhouettes, nice shape language and colors. So this is something we're really paying particular attention to. Maybe let's just move on to the next, which is Osric, another one of our NPCs. Again, I think that's a pretty stark contrast, old versus new. I believe the new is really quite awesome, if I may say so. Yeah, I'm just in love with it myself. So another NPC, Aureli's old versus new concept piece. Please keep in mind they're all, of course, work in progress, so things may still be changing, right? We got new buildings that are being worked on. Again, just showing concept, old versus what's coming and or where it's going, right? Yeah, we have outside seating as well, and inside. All right, let's go to a very new version of the Dune Raptor. I think he looks quite nice, but I think we can do better, right? Just a little more vicious looking, a little more aggressive, but again, very pleasing to my eye, and I hope your eye as well. Eat the lizard, right? Okay, and lastly, this is not a 2D concept you're looking at. Now, this is a comparison between an older version of the Living Boulder and the new version of the Living Boulder, which, in my opinion, is quite impressive, if I may say so. So, imagine seeing this little guy. Well, that's a little, he's quite large. Imagine seeing him in VR and having to face him. I think that could be quite impressive, right? So yeah, that's that from me. I hope that gave you a little appetite for more. And I'll leave the stage to somebody else.
All right. Well, I think you guys were pretty stoked about. I think that was Thomas, I have to say, I think that was the highlight of this entire Tavern Talk. People were going nuts, absolutely nuts. When you were putting up those images. Yeah, yeah. We're so excited about the new direction for the art style. I have a few more, since we still have a little bit of time, I have a few more questions that I didn't answer because I wanted to make sure that Paul specifically, because I knew he had a lot. I want to make sure that he was able to cover everything. So the few things left that I have is magic in the lore something people can study, or is it too mysterious? No, they can study it. There's an Acolytes of Knowledge, which I think you will see in the timeline, and they're really kind of devoted to studying the island and its mystical properties. So, are dragons as intelligent as humans? You're gonna have to play the game and find out. So, yeah. And and as you saw, is Eldramoor governor elected? Whatever, it's an elected mayor. Aurelius has been the mayor of the town of Eldramoor since its founding. Who knows? We may have a new mayor after the game releases, but Aurelius has served as the mayor, elected mayor of Eldramoor since its beginning. So, okay, combat. So I know a lot of you are interested in the physics of combat, things like that. So it is impossible to do physics-based combat for a VR MMO. There is far too much network back and forth required. And we just imagine if you had tens of thousands of people all trying to do physics-based combat, ain't gonna fly. So physics-based combat is great for first, for single player, or maybe just a four player, but it does not work in an MMO. So yes, we're going to do our best to try to make it feel good, add weight, but the swords will be going through the enemies. There's no way around that, and there is no way for any true VR MMO to do anything different than that at this time. Can an NPC join my party, and can I have them as friends? I mean, you could try to be friends with them, but no, they can't join your party. NPCs are locked to where they are right now. We do want to hopefully give them life and movement and voice and all of those things, but obviously that is going to be over time and based on monetary budget and all of those things. So we do want to try to make the NPCs feel as alive as possible, but that is going to have to be developed over time. Auction house. Yes, we will have an auction house. Can I only be in one guild at a time? I want to say probably yes, but we're still that is still an undecided decision. I think we lean towards yes on that, but it's definitely Paul's shaking his head, and I'm shaking my head.
Yeah, that's pretty
so
much a
chances
yes.
are-
That's all but
Chances
confirmed.
are the answer is yes. You can have more than one character. So you could create a new character and put that in a second guild if you want. I know people who played Orbis are used to that concept. I know I had it myself. But yeah, so but one character, one guild. And do we expect most players to play purely one class or mix? I think players will probably have a primary class that they're best at, but I think a lot of players will play all and level up, and level up all of them. So I think we'll find that there's a good amount of players that will mix it up so that when they go into a dungeon, form a party, whatever, there are different roles that they could possibly play and sign up for. They could sign up for tank one dungeon and a DPS another or whatever. So I do think that people will play multiple classes. Swimming. We are undecided on swimming. Divided on swimming might be a better way of saying it. We're not going to touch that right now. It's still in discussion.
I think it might be a goal, time permitting. Is that kind of where we're at then? Okay.
That is a great answer, actually. We'd love to have it. We'd love to have, you can wade at the surface or you can dive down below. I would personally love to have that.
And we do know where the first location would be too. Sorry to cut you off, Lynn.
No, you're good.
I have
No,
very
you're good.
specific plans for where we would put the first large scale area that we would make when we get swimming. So
yeah, I would love that. I would love to be able to dive down, and then that adds a whole nother realm, like climbing up, diving down, more places to find things, secret places, etc. So I believe at that point, that is everything that last one. Which came first, the tavern or the duck? Or the duck cult? The tavern was named the Drunken Duck because we leaned into our community and how a bunch of them love ducks, and we decided to lean in and create the tavern called the Drunken Duck. So the duck people in Discord came first. The tavern came second, and we really do love to include the community and things the community loves when we can. We're here for you guys. So having said that, we do have about 15 minutes that maybe a little bit less that we would take some live questions from everybody but Fluffy. Just kidding, Fluffy, I love you. So if you have a question, I guess you raise a hand or something. I don't know. Z handles this part. I don't know how people get brought up on stage. But if you have a question, request to see. Yeah, of course, Fluffy request to speak right away. Knew it.
Will there be frost?
Oh God. I think we showed off frosted videos already, so.
But more frost. Will there be more frost? All the frost.
There'll be a whole zone of frost. Okay, my friend. How about that?
Good enough for now.
Love you, Fluff.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right. Let's
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome to the stage.
I have a question. Will there be a specific way for mages to switch between the different elements, or will you only be able to use one element at a time?
You will not be only able to use one element at a time. At least at the moment, mages are among the freest in their skill use. Most classes, you have to pick a couple of active skills, but the mages have their whole book. It's kind of one of the pieces that are their special sauce. So if you have a rotation you like, if you have spells you like, they're at your fingertips.
I do have one more question. Will there be a way to buff people with your mage abilities? Will there be like circles of like healing? Okay. That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
You got it. Thanks for coming up. Next victim, please.
I'm honored.
Thank you for joining us.
Hello. This question may sound a little stupid to some people because I'm a little bit of a novice in the like MMORPG stuff, but when you guys were talking about like classes and stuff, I heard something like when you're talking about like a primary class, you said that there was something about like having like one per character. Does that mean like say if I wanted like a monk character, but then I also wanted to try something new, I can make a new character that was like a mage or something?
No, you can play all the classes, the 4 that we start with and the more that we'll be adding. You can play them all on your character. You are not locked in
On
to
one
just
character.
choosing one. Whatever weapon you equip is the class you play.
Okay, that makes so much more sense. I appreciate that. That's all I had.
No problem. And not, it wasn't too long ago I was a VR MMO novice too. So you and I are in the same boat. Feel free to ask any questions and learn. I didn't know what DPS was. I didn't even know what the heck MMORPG stood for a while back. So we're all good, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
It just reminded me of something I need to tell Ryan, like a development thing. Go do questions.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Yes.
Hi, I have a simple question. I apologize if this has been answered before, but I was just wondering if there was going to be support for playing while laying down, since that's how I prefer to play most of my VR experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Laying down.
I
is that what you
believe.
said?
Yeah, playing while laying down. I believe Quest itself has a mode that allows that. I know we do have well, I mean, if you're just laying down, yeah, you should be. I mean, I think that's a quest mode more than it is a game mode.
Yeah, it's just that some games, I don't know what exactly causes this, but some games like don't support this, and I was just wondering if that was something that you're going to be looking at, or just hoping that that eventually slots in perfectly with the way that the Quest does it.
Okay, so Ryan, you're going to make a note on that and make sure let's please test
Ryan
that
and I.
outside of just a Quest environment.
We may have to ask
Excellent.
you
We
more
will.
questions for just advice and guidance on that, but I'd love to ask some more
Yeah.
questions about what that looks like.
I will happily test while laying in my bed. I'm just saying.
I do most of my designing on the floor, so
Thank you so much. Thanks for making us think about that and adding something to the game that we might not have thought about before. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
You got it. Next. Whoa.
Howdy there. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
I was wondering if we'd be able to give the current tavern keeper a break and go back there behind the counter and serve drinks ourselves.
So I don't think so because Sarai's pretty she runs a tight bar. But there's been all kinds of suggestions about, can I buy a drink for everybody, and will it give us a buff, and if we drink drinks, will there be some side effect, if you will? So we do really want to make the tavern very fun. I've talked about maybe adding some kind of jukebox and having people in the community make music to to be able to put their own little I know we have some musicians out there. We don't know. The tavern is really we just really want it to be a fun place. As you know, we have chess in there already. We have dartboards in there. And so it is definitely a place where we expect a lot of people to be hanging out and having a lot of fun. But I don't think Sarai would look very kindly on you taking her job away from her.
Well, that's unfortunate, but very understandable. Thank y'all.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question. I think we have one or two more, probably time for one or two more questions. All right, let's hear it.
So I hate always using Orbis as a comparison, but do you guys have any plans for a class that's kind of high skill floor, high skill ceiling? Kind of like how Rune Mage, like it took a while to learn, longer to master kind of thing? Or are they all going to be relatively easy to learn, but still take some effort to get good at?
Exactly.
Which-
We want to make sure that, you know, and as an Orbis player, I could tell you there's a lot of people that Orbis Mage turned off because it was so hard to get into. And we don't want that for any of our classes. We want the novice or the expert to be able to get in and start a class. But having said that, we do want you to have to work hard at being able to get really good at the class. So it's going to be, you know, an easy entry point, but still a high skill ceiling.
All right, sounds great then.
You got
Thank
it,
you.
my friend. Thank you for coming on. Probably got about maybe one more. Who else we got? Maybe two more. We'll see.
I'm out of gin. Last one.
Yeah,
There's
oh.
voting yet. Just putting that out there, but anyone is welcome to. We're actually doing pretty good on time.
Okay. Anybody else want to ask a question? Nope. There you go. Somebody.
Hey there.
All right.
Question I
turtle
have
friend.
is, I was an Orbis player, yes, but my question is for those of us that are doing the support, once you get your Kickstarter off and going, and there's some side things that they said that you guys were going to have us help design, or depending on how much we donated, when do we hear back from you on those kind of things?
You will hear back from us very shortly after the Kickstarter closes, because we want to make sure we engage with you and get things going, that we have your attention. And you know, at the very least, even if we're not ready right away for whatever it is that that you got, we do want to make sure that we create that communication. We know how to get in touch with you, and we start. Because sometimes some of the things that you have supported, you know, may affect other parts of the game. So we want to make sure that right away after it closes, we import all the information, we get everything set. So you know, it won't be days. It probably, you know, a week or two probably by the time we get everything in and going. But we do want to make sure that we communicate right away and start that open dialogue. And of course, at any point, I am open to DMs. You can DM me and say, hey, you know, I haven't heard from you guys or anything like that. So please always feel free. You know, you can DM me directly, and I answer all my DMs.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. I think I saw one other person maybe raise a hand to talk. Oh, I think it was a gentleman that was already up here before.
Hey, yeah, I have one more question.
Yep.
Will there be like a starter guide or way to learn the game before purchasing and playing?
So, I guess now, okay. So
I'll write something.
there
I like writing.
there will be a tutorial. So when you enter the game, there will be a tutorial, and additionally, I guess we'll talk about it now. I'm not sure we've ever talked about it publicly before, but I think we're ready to talk about it, right? We will have what we're kind of referring to as a trial period, which will be levels 1 through 10. You'll be able to play levels 1 through 10, and all 5 zones will be open to you for free. Beyond that, you will have to buy the game. So those who support us in Kickstarter, obviously you get the entire game, right? But that way, for those of you who haven't purchased the game, you know, you can get in and try. You can go to all the zones and see, like, you know, what they all look like and visit. And if you have friends that'll help you kill things, that's great. But any gear you get that's beyond level 10, you will not be able to equip. So it's only you will only be able to get through the quest, the main story quest of 1 through 10, without purchasing the rest of the game.
Okay, I have one more question. Will there be like traveling camps you can put down in certain areas to like rest or get ready for a dungeon?
Bonfires. Yes,
Oh yeah.
bonfires.
Okay.
Yeah. So we want the bonfire system to sort of serve as that. Like you'll get whatever your rested bonus is just by hanging out there. And I think that as far as like crafting or other sort of tool systems that you want to bring out into the world, like that'll be the place where you can deploy like a cooking station, or if you got to repair something, a smithing station, like whatever. Like that'll be the place where you all gather. If you have like party usable food as opposed to solo usable food buffs, like that's where you'll share them. So absolutely.
Okay. And then I do have one more question. Sorry for taking up so much time, but will there be mounts?
Yeah.
It's on the Lynn?
Maybe.
Oh, wait, is it?
I think maybe is a great answer.
I'm coming up here to
It's a
meet
maybe.
Lynn and Paul.
Yeah. It's a maybe. I think maybe leaning yes, but we're gonna give a solid maybe.
I'm gonna leave that on
Okay.
the time and budget permitting thing. I have like a lot of combat and profession stuff to do.
Okay, I was just wondering, but thank you for answering all our questions.
Absolutely. I think well, we're at time. And I don't see anybody else wrangling to ask a question. So, no.
As well,
No.
if that
What'd
if
you
we
say?
can squeeze one more in, perhaps from Cloud.
Say that again? Cloud what?
Dealer
Quack
has
dealer.
a quack dealer. Yeah.
Oh, quack dealer? Fine. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Final, hopefully final question, so you guys don't have to continue with this. Will I have to pay for DLCs after I've purchased the game?
Yes.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Yep. The initial purchase of the game gets you all the way, gets you the game as it exists today.
Get a full story,
And
full set of classes for a bit of dungeons and raids.
Okay.
yeah, any DLC through release, anything else will be paid content.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Fluffy's only going to ask us more Frost questions, so he doesn't get to talk. It is Frost related. No, not a normal question. Absolutely not. Sorry, Fluffy. Okay. By the way, Fluffy and I go way back, so I can treat him like that. Will the MSQ have cutscenes? No cutscenes in the MSQ, right? Paul? Someone just asked that
It's
question.
actually a Thomas question, but no, I don't think so.
Oh.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying no.
Yeah. Any voiceover in the MSQ? I kind of already talked about that. We'd love to. That's going to be time and budget dependent. Fluff abuse. Definitely fluff abuse. Okay. Listen, it's 9:01. This is supposed to go on for an hour, so I don't want to keep you guys longer than you need to be. And my team has worked extremely hard all day long with their regular job, and then to prepare for this as well. I am happy to stay on a little bit longer, but I do want to let my team go. Lastly, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for joining us here, for all of your support. We have 13 days left of our Kickstarter. Please continue to spread the word, tell people about the new art design, and everything. We have such an incredible team. We've had some turnover in our team, and I feel like the people that we've brought on are just, we just keep getting better and better and better. And that's not a dig at the previous people. That's just to say we've got some really amazing, dedicated, passionate people on this team. And I think anybody who saw the Kickstarter video will agree with that. This team they're inspiring. They are inspiring with their passion and commitment every single day. So that's all we have. Again, I will stay on for a little bit, but I do want to let Paul and Tom. Oh, that means Z has to stay on too. But I'm going to let Paul and Thomas and Ryan go. Z, you're going to hang out with me just for a little. And that's it. So anybody who wants to sign off now, you can. Anybody who wants to hang out and chat in the thing or come up on stage and ask me a question, maybe I can answer it, maybe I can't. I'm here. Paul, Ryan, Thomas, have a great
wonderful
night.
night, everyone. Thank you for listening to my rambling.
Was nice. See you all soon.
Anybody else, now that we're shrinking down, that may have phobia about asking questions, want to come up and ask any questions, or are we truly done? Not fluffy. Or are we truly done for the night? Can we preview any of the Kickstarter perks? Oh, that's a real big question. Not right now. I can look and see what we might have. Some of the Kickstarter perks, I'm going to be straight up honest with you, we haven't developed yet. But what about the Quack Pet? Yes, the Quack Pet, that was given out through Discord. I think we already previewed that. That's actually in, I think, one of the announcements. If you go and look, as far as the new species, we're actually referring to them as species, not races. We have the two, the Feralin and the Zapira. The other two are TBD, honestly. We didn't know if we'd even get to those stretch goals. So, we have some ideas definitely for what we want to include in the new species. So you almost got me saying races. We don't have a set species for the two that you guys opened up through the stretch goals. Sorry, it's been a long day for me too. Can you open your house to everyone on the server? No. So the house, so there'll be the way the player house will work is everybody has their own. It's one house and it's instanced. So when you go in, it'll look like yours, or the next person go in, it'll look like theirs. Unless you purchased a house through Kickstarter, then you will have your own house, your name, possibly decoration or two, and it is in a separate area right off the main area, a really beautiful area, and I think the people that purchase houses are really gonna love where you are, and the houses that you'll have, and then what we expect, because you did open up the stretch goal to allow people to come visit your house. So what we would expect is you create a party, much like you would create a party for a dungeon or a raid, and anybody in your party can enter your home with you. So it's not public per se, that you have to be with them. We've tossed around the idea of making it public so anyone can open your house and walk around. That's a little creepy to me, but I know those people that were Zenith players had that option. So it is something that we that we've tossed around. We don't know, but you guys did unlock the ability to invite people into your player house, and so we will have that. Will more non-instance houses become available later? Probably not. We sold these through Kickstarter. If we do make non-instance housing available, they'll be kind of on the outskirts of the town. Definitely, not as grand or as nice as the people, that purchase, but that's still, still in town, still houses. But currently the only houses that we are going to have are the ones that were purchased through Kickstarter and are right there off the main area. Nope, we cannot ban Chodo. And you guys, the Eden group, I love you guys. I'm so glad you joined us. It's so much fun having you guys here. So, great group. And I think with that, we're almost 10 minutes over, and I don't know if we answered all the questions. I tried to answer questions as I saw them come up. Eventually guild homes. Yes, there will be a guild house actually. So your guild will have an instance. So there'll be one guild house, and again, it will be instance. So if you are a member of Guild ABC and you enter, other people when they enter that are from Guild ABC will see you in there. You'll have some common resources that you can share in there, etc. If someone from Guild XYZ walks in, they obviously won't see you. They'll see their own guild house. So yes, we will have that as well. Is my left hand okay? Yeah, I got a little bit of carpal tunnel. I've owned my own business and been on a computer, nonstop for as long as I can believe. But I am working my butt off at Resolute Games here. I've never had a problem, and I seem that's just that's how it goes. So, but thank you for asking. I don't know who that was, but I do appreciate you asking. And I think that's going to be it. We're gonna stop there. And again, I'm so thankful for all of you and your support and for spreading the word and for being here with us. This is an incredible adventure, and we really, really, really want to make this the success that you all need, want, and deserve. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you for allowing us to be here and do this for you and support and supporting us. So, will there be stream waiting in the game? Okay, I'm not gonna. There's more questions coming on. Take it to Discord, and I'll flip over to the regular Discord general channel and try to answer some questions for you guys over there. All right. Thank you very much. We're gonna end now. That's all I got. Scorpio out.